I've been in the tax financial planning world for approximately 35 years, almost 34 years. It sounds frightening every time I say it. Since 1988. And for the predominant number of years, I've been in public accounting. I did work in industry for Fortune 500 companies, mostly in the biotech space. But over the past 7 years, I've been in the continuing education space for CPAs, CFPs, and enrolled agents. I think continue that's sort of the technical get a certificate, comply with the regulatory type
Mhm.
situation. But for me, continuing education is far more than that. I think that we're in this situation where technology, particularly in our profession, I'll share a statistic with you. There was an Oxford study that was done 10 years ago, and they ranked six or 700 different professions and said, where will AI and um, the fifth 5G and all of this, how will it impact these professions? And at the rock bottom is accounting, auditing, tax preparation. That artificial intelligence will just completely dominate the landscape and push us out. So a lot of what I've been preaching on, particularly on the non-technical side, is to say, look, we've got to reimagine our value proposition. So it's not simply enough to go ahead and take continuing education on things that we know. We need to expand well beyond that. So in my opinion, reskilling is literally doing a lateral move, saying this is, I've been on this sort of career path and this journey, and I am reinventing myself in some fashion to do a whole other professional type of work, versus upskilling is, in my opinion, improving on what we have. And my personal opinion is everything is a hybrid. It's going to be a little of both, right? Because the world is constantly changing. So we can't just assume, it goes back to what I mentioned earlier with continuing education, that this is the universe that I'm accustomed to, and I'm sort of learning the updates and that sort of thing. But if I don't spend that time on a quarterly basis, or if I don't spend that time looking forward in realizing that this value proposition is now shifting and we need to move over here, and maybe sometimes that is a reskilling situation, that I have to adopt a different approach to what I'm doing. I have to bring on a different team or create another niche within my particular platform, then that's what needs to be done. Or I need to improve on what I'm doing to find some efficiencies in my current process so I can expand on some of those services. So I think the two really work together. And again, it's just this dynamic process that we can't necessarily get into a rut with the work that we do and just take courses. And, I think a lot of times when it comes to continuing education, people get very comfortable and lazy, to be honest with you, that they take courses that they're familiar with, as opposed to necessarily learning something that's brand new that may be relevant for a skill that's needed in the future. Particularly in the tax world, if I'll frame it out this way. If you've seen the Super Bowl, for example, TurboTax had done a lot of ads, tax preparation software in January and February and all that. They don't mention the software at all. What they mention is, I've got your back. I've got, this, that, and the other thing. They're selling the personal side. And that's essentially the competition that tax preparers have. And I've stressed this to different companies and different firms, that you don't sell tax preparation at a higher value proposition level. I used to always say that I sell sleep. That's what I do. I essentially sell sleep, that I now take your problem so that you're not spending the whole night looking at the ceiling fan. Now I am. That's the level of engagement that people have to have. And that's difficult, because I think a lot of times what most people do when it comes to promoting themselves is they talk about all the great things that they're about and all the things that are going on. And what we really need to be doing is asking those hard questions, building trust and earning trust by saying, I am here to essentially own some of your problems, work on that, and then be able to have them tell you, oh my goodness, I have this business. My daughter is going to inherit this business and she's engaged to this jerk. And I don't want to give her the business outright. Like, what do I do? Those are the issues that truly matter. And I think we have to understand empathy. We have to understand trust building. And there's techniques and there's lessons to be learned on how to develop those skills. And the only way that you can learn that, and then you have to actually put it in place. And that means getting out there, physically getting out there, sharing space with people, going to events now that the world has opened up on us. Get out from Zoom Brady Bunch land and be able to do some of the things that matter. Get in the same room with people, because when you're engaged with people in the same room, having a different level of conversation, that's how you're going to be able to develop soft skills, which will translate into better client relationships and higher value. That the everyday takes place, but it is carving. So for in my particular case, I'll take 2 days each quarter, the beginning, the tail days of any quarter leading up to the next, lay out the things that I want to do that are beyond the everyday, and commit a level of time to each one of those, and just revisit that every couple of weeks to say, because there will be times where I'm so busy with the everyday that I'll look back down on my list and go, oh, criminy, yeah, I wanted to get this done. But you've just got to be able to force those issues. And personally, the evolution is, as I mentioned in our practice, and I think this is true with paraprofessionals and niche experts, is that you're not going to find time to do you're going to run out of time all the time, every day, just doing what you're doing, unless you're strategic and reshift that value proposition and start doing some high level work at a higher dollar amount. That's where you start buying time. And this is what I warn CPAs all the continuously, that it does become a race to the bottom, that software technology will replace your value in this dynamic, and you'll be earning less and less for more hours. So unless you change that approach and work on those soft skills and do some of those things, then you can charge a higher dollar amount, work less hours, and at least be neutral in terms of total revenue, if not grow your revenue.